I'm referring to why do exes reopen communication, if any kind, whether they want you back, they want to just randomly talk to you, they want to be friends again. No, you actively saw that the last time you reached out for me to try and help you, that I ignored you and I left you on red on purpose. You still reached out.
And she went ghost for like a week. And I was like, cool story. Don't know what the hell that means, but have a good life, whatever. And I wrote it off. It's like, whatever. I'm not gonna bother with it. I'm a grown ass man. I can take my lickings. So.
The human race is divided in two distinct sexes, male and female. While the typical man is a simple creature, there exists a subgroup, the nice guy, a dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex, allegedly. However, they are dismissed and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone. Joe, Jason, and Manny are the last of the nice guys.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day. Happy New Year's. Thank you for tuning into another fantastic episode of the Last of the Nice Guys podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and with me is my co-host, Manny. And we're here to talk to you about the smooth sounds of life. All right, that's it. All right. Thanks. I know that our posting is very sporadic, and I apologize. And actually, as I'm recording this, there's an episode that I completely forgot that I never even posted. So guess what? You're listening to part two of one that are coming out week to week. So yay! Yeah. All right. Anyway, today's topic is case of the ex. Why do they come back? Now, I want to preface this. Okay, I'm not some hot shit. Okay, no, they're not coming back for this big D. No. What I'm saying, what I reply to, the little d, yes. When I state why do they always come back, I'm referring to why do exes reopen communication, if any kind, whether they want you back, they want to just randomly talk to you, they want to be friends again. Why do they come back? Now, this is inspired by 3 instances that happened within the last month. First, the female that was if you want to know the backstories to these women, you'd have to listen to these episodes. Portrait of a Clown is one episode. She decided to reach out and said, and I quote, here it is on Facebook Messenger, "Hey, you came to my mind. How are you?" Mind you, when you scroll right above, you'll see that she tried contacting me in the middle of the night on a random Saturday last year to rescue her, and I never answered. I just left her on red. It's right above the "Hey, how are you?" Did you when you anybody knows you bring up these messages, you see the last thing you said. Do you think? Let me ask you a question. When you see that, don't you be like, "Oh right," and close the messenger? No, you actively saw that the last time you reached out for me to try and help you, that I ignored you and I left you on red on purpose. You still reached out. That's one. Second example, check out the one. I think, what is it called? Portrait of a relationship fail or something like that. It's where I talked about the second to last girlfriend I discussed on this podcast. The one where I basically said she wasn't a very good. Oh yes, there it is. Portrait. Nope, wrong thing. I think it's portrait of a breakup from a man's point of view, something like that.
Yeah, that's
portrait of a breakup from a man's point of view. You can watch that episode. And that episode was where the female in question, when I called her out on her not being a good girlfriend, i.e., not doing, ghosting me on my birthday and not doing anything. Not again, not saying she needed to, but she didn't even want to. She didn't even try. She's completely ghosted me on my own birthday. And it's, when I told her how I felt, she decided to break it off. Nobody's perfect. Let's end the relationship. Cool, come get your stuff. And of course, you guys know the story. She didn't come for it for a month. I threw her stuff out, and the very few days afterwards, she got upset with me when she tried to get it. And I said, "Yo, you stayed for a month. Why would I want this here for a month?" She reached out on a few days before my birthday on Instagram, and I'll read that to you guys right here. It's crazy and it's funny. It's they reached out on every different. Everybody did it differently. She reached out on Instagram and said, "Hey, what's up? Advance happy birthday. God bless." That was on June 1st. And when you scroll right above, all you see is the lovey-dovey conversations that we had in 2021 when we were dating. And I remind you, when you bring up a chat, you see the history of the chat. It's right there in your face. So you see these lovey-dovey shits on between us from in 2021. Okay. Then you look at that and you remember, oh, wait, we broke up. Oh, wait, I broke us up. Oh, wait, he was really upset with me. And the last thing he said was, delete my number. Don't ever reach out to me again. So the reason why she reached out via Instagram is she probably did delete my number, but she couldn't respect me enough not to reach out to me ever again. Of course, just like the other one, she was left on red. And lastly, on my birthday, this one was a text message. I can't tell you who this one was because I don't have that number anymore. So basically that text read, and I will these women are, it's funny. That text read, where is it? I had all this ready for everybody. Oh no. That's not it. Nope. Blah la 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 la. Hey, there it is. It said, on my birthday, happy birthday, Jason. And I replied with, oh, you remembered. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Who is this? And so she replies, one of your exes. And then it goes, you're welcome. And of course, I didn't reply. And that was it. So this being, why do they always come back? And again, I have to assume, since I deleted your number, we either didn't end on good terms or I had no interest in continuing communication with you. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody that I end things with, I end on bad terms. I just that once I'm done, I'm done. When you're done, you're done. You should be done. That's three exes. Three exes, two that I know, and one I don't know which one that was. Within the span of one, was it one month, 2 months? So the question I ask, and this is not just about women in general, but why do they come back? Especially if things ended non-amicably. Before we answer that question, Manny actually is going to contribute a story. Go, Manny!
Yay. Oh, it's over here. Yay. So since I tell my stories free and willingly, sometimes I don't really put timestamps on any of them.
Sometimes.
There was a time when rainbows and strawberries were a thing, and I felt butterflies in my stomach, and I actually cared about love. But that all changed on this particular. I'm lying. So
I was going to say because you've never cared about love since I met you.
Let me stop.
Manny has hated love since the day I met him. He just, he's all about peace, or he was about peace, but spreading the peace. But he hated love since the minute I met him.
So there was an individual that came my way, basically pursued me. We exchanged numbers, we started talking.
I'm already turned on.
Things started happening.
Oh.
And
let's get a little deeper about these things.
I that's what I did. No.
Good one. Very good. Zing, zing, zing. Zing.
Bazinga. So
nice guys.
Things got heavy, and then things started like happening around us, and we were like there for each other. We weren't really like officially a thing, but we were I guess, transitioning to that
Okay.
because
Okay.
we were at a point in our lives where we've been screwed up so many times that we were just like, why don't we just like coast and see where this goes first before we're like, oh my God, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend. Yay. Like put labels on it. Like, let's just see where it goes. Let's see if I can
Put
stand you
put some
for a little
respect on
bit.
my name.
Right. And see where it goes from there. I love you.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Okay. Okay.
Hi.
So we were just enjoying each other's vibe because we vibed really well, vibe.
Pun
And
intended.
we were just enjoying each other's company, seeing where it was going. A little while into it, uh something happened that oh she apparently saw something that made her feel some kind of way, and it was about her recent ex at the time.
Uh,
um
no, for context, you said a little while. How long are we talking about before this happened? How long were you talking or seeing each other? Whatever the kids are calling it these days.
I want to say a few months.
Few months. Okay, more
Yeah.
than two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's call it a few months.
Okay.
um then she saw something on like social media or something, a photo of her ex doing something or whatever, and it made her feel some kind of way, and she went ghost for like a week. And I was like, cool story, don't know what the hell that means, but have a good life, whatever. And I wrote it off, just like whatever. I'm not gonna bother with it, I'm a grown-ass man. I can take my lickings. um so I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna worry about it. And then she reappears, tells me what happened,
After
that
how long? Reappears after how long? She
maybe
goes for
another,
she goes for a
she
week.
ghosted for a week, and I
Right.
want to say maybe like another week after that.
So she goes for a week and then she's kind of MIA for she's MIA for 2 weeks. All right.
Right.
I just
And
want
then,
context before we rip her apart.
and then she goes and tells me that, she got back with her ex, she let him back, no, she let him back into her life, yada 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 yada. And I was just like, cool, I'm happy for you, pursue the happiness, whatever you want to get it from, that's cool. I would have, respected me a little bit more, but like, hey, listen, you're not the one. I'm going back. I'm going to go backwards in my life. Cool story.
Oh snap! Wait.
I
Are
was
you
like,
wait?
all right.
Hold on. Now I want to be very clear. This is the man that champions the backslide. Okay, and it's his champion of the black backslide that led to that freaking relationship in 2021.
But listen, like I said, I'm not. I championed the backslide. I have no gripe about it. But the thing is, if you are currently like
Uh huh.
involved with somebody,
Uh
open
huh.
up your damn mouth and be like, hey, listen, this isn't working out for me, so I'm going to go backwards.
You're
Cool.
asking for maturity. You're asking for a level of maturity
Correct.
because
Correct.
because ghosting is can be seen as two ways. It can be seen as insulting and dismissal, but it also can be seen as a crisis of conscience. I don't want to hurt you, so I'm just gonna ghost you, as if like ghosting somebody doesn't hurt them also. The difference is though, it's an indirect hurting. You're being hurt. You know you're hurting them, but you know that you didn't do anything directly. They're gonna be hurt because of your I don't know, your non-communication, and they'll admit that their minds wander. I think ghosting is worse than telling somebody you're not feeling them, but that's just me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it leaves you with nothing, and then you're left there in limbo, and then you're at a 50-50 chance of, all right, fuck it, let me just keep moving on. And then they come back like, whoa, we didn't have this conversation. Exactly. We didn't talk about what the hell you disappeared for. So I moved on, point blank, empty story, or end of story. So
Uh,
whatever. So moving on. Um, I want to say like another few weeks after that, she decided that going backwards was a problem and didn't work in her favor. So she decided to
I like
poke
how
your mans
diplomatic.
again.
I like how diplomatic you're telling this story. I mean, this is very like carry on.
Yeah. So she decided to poke your mans again.
Mm-hmm.
And your mans was just like, I mean, I'm with it only because, you know, we vibe well. I said, but you only get like two strikes with me. Like you get a set. Like everybody deserves a second chance. I'm with it. But
It depends upon the
it depends on the
grievance. It
situation.
depends on the
Yes.
grievance, and I think ghosting is not. You don't get a second chance for ghosting. You get a second
So
chance for dropping you for her ex. That's that. If she was
right.
cool with that, but the ghosting, but that's the two strikes: ghosting, and then dropping me for your ex. That's two strikes
So
right there.
so I was like, all right, whatever. We'll give this another shot. And it was going well. And then she quickly did something that reminded me of someone else. And I was just like, nope, 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 nope. I was like, listen, I'm not the kind of person that likes to compare exes and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I compare the shit out of them. That's why I'm perpetually single.
But my thing is what you just did and said right there reminded of me of so and so from back then. And I promised myself never to fucking deal with that again. So not that I'm telling you that you are her. What I'm telling you is the situation reminds me of that. So what I'm going to ask you is please figure out what you were doing at that point in time, kind of reconnect with yourself because clearly you're still not over this fucking douchebag.
Uh-huh.
And we can go from there. And what is he
Uh-huh.
sending me here?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Not those.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm trying to fill
Uh,
some dead air. I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm waiting. I'm waiting out here like everybody else. Like, okay, what happened? What
so
happened?
um she basically was just like she was just like, oh, I am over him. I want to be with you. You make me feel some kind of way, yada 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 yada.
You make me feel
And
like
I
a
was just
woman. You
like,
make me feel like a
yeah,
woman.
you do things for me that no one's ever done for my life in my life.
And that's code for
You
tossing salad.
um, and she's like, oh, you've done things for me that no one else has, and yada yada yada. You're a great man. You're great this. You're great that. And I was like, cool. I was like, but not apparently not great enough because
Woo!
you're
That's
not
a Jason response.
right. You're not. You haven't jumped over that wall yet. Like
Mhm.
you're still at the at that kiddie pool with your toe in the water. And should I not? Like, and I'm not about that life, man. Like, it's cool. Like, I have no personal issues with you. If that's what you choose to be, live your life accordingly. Like, I'm fine with that. So, we started talking sporadically about that, or by that time or whatever. And then we grew closer again because she was slowly getting over it. So a couple of months more goes by.
You got a lot of patience for a man who hates love, but carry on.
And then well, see, this was like I said in the beginning of this story, this was before I hated love. I
Oh,
used to like it.
okay.
I
I
never
understand.
loved it. I just used to like it.
Okay,
So
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll
so
take it.
then
So sexy.
then a little while later, um something else happened and she just fell off again and went ghost again, but not as bad as the first time. Or the first time. It was more or less like a day or two, and then,
Uh,
hey, good morning. And it's like, oh, cool, you remember me today? That's awesome.
yeah, no, no,
Um,
no, no,
so no, no,
no.
no. So then I was like, cool. Well, then at that point I became really, really dry with her. I was just like, cool. So I hope you have a great day. Oh, so that's what we're gonna do today? Yep. And then that was it.
Is that what she
And I
said?
never, yeah. Is that what we're doing today?
Okay, so let's stop for a minute. Let's just back this up. So he goes to you, whether it's a day or not. I don't give a shit. Text messages you, hey, good morning, like she didn't just disappear for a day or two, right? And then expects you to be like, hey, and then has a
Right.
nerve to call you out because you are being dry, and she knows why you're being dry. I mean, oh my god.
Right. So then I was just like, yeah, I was like, clearly you have a lot going on that you're not telling me about. And again, that's fine. Live your life, do what you gotta do. I don't have the time for the patience of this. I got a lot of my own stuff going on. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not with me at my lowest, you don't deserve to be in my life at all.
Oof.
You know. And that's just point blank, because if you really care about somebody, you'll be there for them regardless of what they're going through. And I'm like that with a majority of people that I know. obviously I'll do more for shut the fuck up. Obviously I'll do more for certain people, but you know, I'm a generally caring person. And if I don't, not that I need it to reciprocate to people, but if I don't feel that I'm getting that from somebody, I'm not wasting my time keeping you around. You clearly have other things that you need to do.
There's nothing wrong with
It's
saying
fine.
that you honor and appreciate reciprocity. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I
No,
mean,
no, but what I'm saying is I don't need it to be who I am to other people, is
no,
what
no,
I'm
of
saying.
course, no. I've
Yeah,
never ever said on this podcast that reciprocity meant tit for tat. I
right,
give you a flower, you give me a flower. Reciprocity is just like love. Love is not tit for tat. You show your love only I show. It's so much to
right.
the point now where they have love languages. What we mean by reciprocity is that if we're giving and not receiving anything comparable, that is comparable in your way, then that's what we're saying. That's reciprocity. I've never ever said it's tit for tat. That makes no sense. But what I am
Right.
saying though is that at some point, if somebody's showing you all this love and appreciation, the question you should be
You
asking
got
is,
to get something back
right?
sometimes.
No, what am I showing them? How am I showing them appreciation?
Hmm.
How do they feel loved? Kind of a thing. Without I don't mean oh thank you. Those don't mean anything. So carry on with the story.
So, you know, she was just like, oh, you know, I have a lot of stuff going on, this and that. I'm like, again, we divulge in the beginning of this, whatever we're doing, is that we're open on communication. I'm very big on communicating. I've expressed this to everybody in every platform that I ever use. I communicate. That's just what I do. I don't like going ghost. I don't like the nonverbal bullshit. Like, just be real and be honest and say what you mean and do what you have to say. That's it. I said, but you clearly have an issue with that, which is fine. Again, that can be somebody else's problem. It will not be mine. Um, so this went on for another couple of weeks. And then he just eventually died out. And at this point, I was just like, yeah, I mean, if I'm just glad it happened at that point before we made it like an official thing. And I was just like, oh
Not
my
even just that.
God.
Forget about the official thing. You glad it happened before you got attached, and
Right.
we
That's
all
what I
get
mean.
attached, right?
I had that attachment. I was just like, oh my God, hey,
Right. Mhm.
so, lesson learned, obviously. Um, but that's my one story of the one of my returners. I have a
Right.
few, um, but they're long drawn out stories, not
Okay,
like
good. Well, so
Jason.
that's fine. So now the question is, back to the title of this topic is why do they come back? What I mean, I would love to hear your answer to this, because what I'm going to say is, of course, vitriol. So and probably rhetoric, but why do you think they come back? Exes. Why do
um,
exes come back?
exes
Ex
can
exes, exes,
exes or
ex romantic
somebody.
partners, ex hit and misses. Those you had more than a platonic relationship or budding more than. Why do they always seem to come back?
Um, it was explained to me one time that I do too much of this, which I have done thus corrected many, many, many years ago. Is I have the habit and the ability to make myself too available for people.
Okay.
And I believe that is part of the problem when most of these exes return, because they're looking for that. Is he still going to be there? Or are they still going to be there? Will
Mm-hmm.
they, I'm obviously, I turned them down. Didn't work right with me. Let me see if they're still available to at least talk to,
Mm-hmm.
not nothing else. And if we did have something else, maybe I can get some of that again, just so I can feel like a beautiful woman and whatever, what have you, because douchebag didn't do it for me. Um, I believe a part of that is for that, just to see if the availability is still there. Um, and I believe that a majority of women today have a problem taking accountability
Mm-hmm.
for the mistakes that they make and decisions that they make. So instead of, oh, hey, I made a mistake, I'm an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
um, can we talk like mature adults and
Yeah.
see if we can, you know, rekindle what I screwed up on?
Yeah.
Not the, hey, you
Yeah.
want to be friends again?
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think that's what it is. They don't have that the ability to be accountable for those mistakes. So therefore they reach out in that little innocent way that they do, which is annoying as shit. Because
it is annoying as shit. It's innocent and it feigns ignorance. And I hate to say this, but bitch, don't you remember what happened? Like that's how I how I feel when I get it. I actually found a list from hackspirit.com, whatever the hell that is. And I'm gonna read off these real quick, but beforehand, I'm gonna tell you what I think very clearly. They come back because they're selfish. That's just it right there. It's pure selfishness. Because if you understood what happened and you and especially if it ended in a negative way or not or a less than platonic way, and you've parted ways, for you to try and put yourself back into that person's life, you're being selfish. Especially if that person, and in my case, they were all told, go away. Jason, if Jason, not for nothing, only wants one thing out of life, to be left alone. And once you're in that leave me alone space, leave me alone, you know? But it's also partially the person's fault, my fault, the person's fault. Because just like you said, you've made yourself too available, so have I. But I've also cultivated in the past I've cultivated a pre-established notion that Jason is always here. And Jason will always respond no matter how bad things ended. Give him some time, you know, and I'll reach out to him and he'll embrace me again, regardless of what happened in the past. I'm guilty of that. Guilty as charged. Because and it wasn't because I ignored the past, but I just, I would let it go and say, fine, hey, you're coming back around. Now I'm curious. What do you want? And I'd talk and let the chips fall where they may, and I'd let you do this revolving door. It's a phrase I used to use in this podcast, probably in the early times. It's called cycle women. I used to have a bunch of cycle women. These women that cycled in and out of my life. And lastly, I had the phrase that was given to me, Captain Save-A-Ho. I was able to make a woman, when she was feeling low, feel great again, take her out, say nice things, be supportive. And I'd fluff her back up enough to disappear and go back to some nonsense and come back around, and thus being reavailable. So that's me. That's victim blaming for myself. I'm taking accountability of that. But where's your conscience when you reach out to a guy like that? When you know you've played him, when you know you've ghosted him, when you know you have broken up with him or broke his heart or any of that stuff. And then you still have the nerve to say, hey, what's up? How are you doing? I threw your stuff out the last time we spoke. And I said, literally, don't you ever reach out to me again. That's what I said. And you did anyway. 2 years later. And I want to be very clear. 2 years later, in the same month, 2 years ago that you broke us up. So not only do you have no tact by not respecting that I said, don't ever reach out to me again, you have no conscience to be like, I don't think reaching out to him again in June, when I dumped him after his birthday before Father's Day, maybe that's not the best month of the year to say, hey, what's up? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? You have to be some kind of seriously delusional or seriously selfish to not have some kind of tact and say, maybe now's not the time. Maybe it's not a good idea. Or don't ever do it again. So this is what I'm saying, is I believe, just like the same reason why, exes look at your social media, they're looking for a way in. Or in my case, with at least one of them, you're being malicious and looking for a way to destroy. You know what I'm talking about. And but that's what I'm saying. I think they come back out of pure selfishness. But in this list here, I'm just going to read the title. Hackspirit.com says these 16 classic reasons why your ex comes crawling back to you after you moved on. But moved on doesn't mean you moved on to somebody else, but you've moved on. You've gotten over it. 1, they finally realized their mistake. I disagree completely. And if they do realize their mistake, just like Manny says, they do not acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. They know, oh, I fucked up, man. Jason, Manny, they were great guys. I gotta get that person back in my life. But you do not come back into it in good faith. Hey, listen, I know I ghosted you, and whatever, and you know what? Hopefully you can. You don't have to find forgiveness. You just have a conversation. I hope you understand, and I can do better. And you give me the opportunity to be like, cool story, bye, or okay, cool, let's see what goes. What do you think? Do you think that one of the reasons why they come back is that they finally realize their mistake?
I think it's like I said earlier, they do finally realize they made a mistake. They just don't have the ability to be accountable for it.
Right.
So at some point it is true to a sense, but it's not as innocent as that general statement makes it out to be.
Exactly.
I mean, especially for today's women, today's generational women, they're on this whole, I'm the prize. I need to be catered to.
Yes.
So if I make a mistake, oopsie, no, like that's not how it goes. Because if a man does some shit like that, it's like, no,
better believe it.
So I'm telling you. I think it just the shoe needs to be worn on the same foot, man. Like it's just if you don't have any accountability for what you did, then don't even waste your time trying to reach out.
Right. Exactly. Number two, they say you're more appealing now, and I can agree with that. Possible. It says you're most likely feeling happier, stronger, more confident, and at peace, and then that's like, oh my God, what's going on with his life? And I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why I was reached out to, because new ride, new job, living my life like I'm alive. I took myself out for my birthday to a little penthouse, whatever. And they're like, oh my God, he's on like some new kick. I gotta see what's going on. Like that. I liked who he was before, but now he's on a new level. Yeah, I could see that. I even have a story where one of the girls, this is the beach date story I told. I forget what I told this story. The beach date story. When she came back around and I asked her out, and when I finally figured out when things didn't work out, and she's like, other guys were showing me love too. I'm like, then why did you not just go to them? Why were you let me be in the orbit then and take up all this burden? She said, well, because I saw a change and I wanted to explore this change in you. And I remember looking at her. We're at not Bahama Breeze. What's that place called? Margarita Ranch, Tequila Ranch. What is it called? Margaritaville.
On the beach.
Yeah, right, Margaritaville. And she says, "Oh, it's because I saw a change in you, and I wanted to see that experience and explore it." And I just did this. What are we doing here? Like literally, I just looked at her. So yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Any other comments on this one before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think that there are some aspects in women's lives, because they watch a lot of the stupid reality TV nonsense, that if you start making more money, that also is a thing.
Oh, see, I wasn't going that far. I wasn't going to go that far. I wasn't going to go that far. I wasn't going to say that modern women are gold diggers. I wasn't going to say that. I didn't say that. Just Manny said that. So number 3, you're a challenge again. Some people like the game. I
don't understand what that means.
You're a challenge again. It says some people just love the thrill of the chase. So the problem is once you get caught, they lose their interest in you.
Oh, yeah.
And so once you let them go, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, they're starting to see someone, or they're probably dating someone again. Let me get back into their orbit and chase them and see if I can get them to like cheat on their girlfriend or break up or want me again and show me. And I've seen this.
We've touched that on a couple of episodes before, that there are women that get off on making other men cheat on their women. Yeah. And wrecking homes. Yeah. Yeah. They get off on it. It's real.
Because it's an ego trip. When you're a homewrecker and you're able to do that, able to get this guy to step out on the risk because it's you, it means, oh yeah. That's the same reason why I believe women who keep guys in the friend zone and dangle them around. It's an ego thing. Who doesn't want to have someone around that admires you more than just being a friend? So you get them around. It flows with your ego. I mean, I don't, but women seem to like that.
But this is another video that I'm gonna post pretty soon on our page. This guy says, he says just because he's nice to you doesn't mean that he actually likes you. At that moment in time, you took a position because he's either mad at his current girlfriend or wife or whatever reason, and you decided to slide in between the situation and make yourself available. That doesn't mean he has to like you. That doesn't mean he has to call you again. That doesn't mean anything else. Cool. You're okay with the fact that I have to hang up the phone with you when my girl walks in? Yep. Oh, yeah, I like you. Yep. I like the stupid stipulations that you give me just for being around. Yep. I don't have to ask for anything. Okay, that's fine with me. Dust it off. That's cool. Makes me move on.
Number 4, they think you're destined to be the getter. And I'm gonna skip this because I think this is stupid. Completely. Because if you're destined to be together, if you really feel that way, I don't believe I don't believe in that whole if they're meant to be yours, let them fly away and they'll come back bullshit.
No.
If they're meant to be yours, then they're meant to be yours. And I don't believe that meant to be anything. I believe most people tend to just settle with who they are and then with who they're with and say, okay, this is gonna be my wife. You weren't destined for them. They just happen to come at the right moment in the time. You felt comfortable and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty good where I am. I don't want to go back out there. Let's settle. No, people are in love and they want to do that. I'm not saying that love and settling can't go hand in hand. It's just I'm just being real. I don't think I don't believe in that whole destiny and the one. There is no the one. The one is who you make it, is who you have at a particular time that you're ready for the one. And that tends to become the one. But anyway,
Oh
so I
yeah,
mean, did you want to bring this up?
it's like I said before. How many billion people? 3.6 billion people in the world, and you're telling me your soulmate lives down the street from you?
Yep.
That's crap.
Yep.
That's crap because you have not experienced life or
Yeah.
experienced anything real
Yeah.
love, actually. Now, again, I'm not saying your current relationship or your marriage is not for you. I'm just saying
I'm saying that.
there's always somebody.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like saying that, but
There
there's
is.
always somebody better.
But there's always somebody worse. So you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You just find the grass that you want to lay in, and that's it. But there's always somebody
Mm-hmm.
better. There's always somebody that you connect with more. There's somebody you have more fun with. Somebody that's better looking. That's why I'm telling you that when you find that person, you decide this is the one for you. That it's you settling,
Yep.
because the possibilities are infinite. You know, not to say that I'll never settle, but I'll probably never settle. But the thing is, matter is that I'm just saying. Number five, they're no longer in control. Your ex may have realized that once you have moved on, they are not in control of you.
Yes.
I can see that. I can
Yes.
see that they come back around and make you life miserable or reinsert themselves into their life because of control. I can see that. I think one of the biggest issues that my kid's mom had with me is that, and her mom had with me, is that they really could never control me. I would appease them, you know, and I would agree with them, and I would pick and choose my battles, but they could never control me. And because I was that guy that wasn't like completely agreeable. I was an agreeable guy, you know, no matter whether I hated being a father or absolutely embraced it. I was never that guy. So because I always had an opinion, we clashed. Because always asked why, you know, and I didn't take them and their authority. So and that they visited, you know, hell every once in a while upon me. So I can see the control part of needing control, and that's why you come back, because you're like, you know, sometimes the only control you have in life is over somebody else. What do you think, Manny?
I agree. I mean, if someone's used to have pulling on the reins and they lose control of that, of course they so yeah. So if they lose control, they lose that feeling of keeping the reins in their hands and they move forward with somebody else who also does not give them the reins to do anything. They're gonna think that they can go backwards to the person who let them for a while.
Yeah.
Or think that they'll be allowed to do so again, which is not always the case. You know, not every simp remains a simp after a relationship.
God, we can only hope. I mean, some sims take 10 years to learn that, but you know. All right, number six, they're jealous. Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, I don't have much to say about that. That's obvious. You moved on. Actually, that's probably the story. That's the reason why your story was back and forth, was because she's probably jealous of the of her ex, and then went back there to whatever, and then came back around and found another reason to be jealous, and backslid again. So jealousy, that's a nothing burger. That's obvious. You know, did you want to add anything to that one before we move on?
No, that's pretty
Yeah, it's
self-explanatory.
self-explanatory. Yeah. Number seven, they realize single life isn't as good as they thought it would be. That's true. That is very true. I've had a girl that I like poured my heart and soul into try and date, drop me for her ex, and then drop the ex and just be single, and then text me randomly and say, hey, you know, I just miss being with a guy that you know makes me feel, you know, appreciated and well. And of course I replied with, what exactly do you want? What exactly do you want? You know, and That was just, and that was of course after like the third backslide of hers. So I only got catty in my or got a backbone in my 20s only after like 3 or 4 times you did it, kind of a thing. So yeah, I could see that because they tend to romanticize guys like us, and be like, oh my God, I felt so much better when I was with this person, blah blah blah. It's probably
Yep.
why the birthday dumper is coming back around. She probably when she decided to get back, and mind you, she came back to me, it was a backslide, and she wanted a relationship, she wanted all this crap. And I said, okay, cool. You've never ever approached me like this before. Maybe you really mean it. But part of the reason was that she was dating long distance. She was dating in the Philippines, many guys, and I think each time they either broke up with her or lied to her or cheated on her. And she said, you know what? No more long distance relationships. I want something local. Where's Jason? I found this out after the fact. So basically, she reached out. She came back to me because I was the most recent local guy she dated, and I was a good guy. Each time we backslid, I was a very good guy, and so she tried or didn't try. Who knows? But the problem is though is that when you're a serial long distance when you're a serial long distance dater, and so all you have to do is talk on the phone. That's it. That's how you date. When
Yep.
you date somebody local and realize it's not just talking on the phone and a little bit of sex, you actually need to be a girlfriend. She couldn't do it. She had no idea. She sucked at it. She was selfish. So I could see that's it. And I'm pretty sure, because I also have it on good authority, that the same month she dumped me, she got with somebody in the Philippines that same June. I have it on good authority. And he was long distance. So she went back to dating long distance. And I'm pretty sure now she's probably feeling it again and reaching out to me like, hey, how are you? God bless. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. So I can see that. What do you think? They realize single life sucks.
Yeah. It's also a possibility because you know you've you've been in a relationship. It especially happens when you're in long-term relationships for
Mhm.
an extended period of time because you're not used to the dating game. You're not used to getting yourself back out there. So
Right.
you don't know how to maneuver your way back into the social life of it. So you tend to like, oh, I miss being cuddled and I can't find anybody new to cuddle with. So, 3 a.m. Hey, just thinking
Hey,
about you. Our favorite pillow is
hey,
right
how
next to
are you?
me.
You seeing somebody? I'm not seeing anybody. What's up?
Right. You want to
I
come
was just,
cuddle like we used to? And
I
then
was
the next
just,
morning, it's like, get the hell out of my face.
yeah, yeah. I just wanted a little taste of that. Yeah. So,
So yeah,
who
it, it,
knows?
it happens. It happens. But again, that's the failure to own up to your mistakes and be accountable for it. Because if part of the owning up to your mistakes and being accountable for it is realizing you don't always get those chances again.
Yeah. Number 8 is stupid. It says a professional relationship coach will know why. Who cares? That's stupid. Number 9 says they want to be the center of attention again, and that's also the same thing, a jealousy and whatever. It's that
Mm-hmm.
when somebody makes you their world, and you walk away from that, you get kind of like a withdrawal syndrome. It was like, and so I could see, yeah, this person made me feel a certain way, and I need that feeling. I need to be like the object of somebody's attention and focus and admiration and adoration. So yeah, absolutely. I come on, give me a break. I mean, that's why they come back to you and me, because we make things fun and we make you feel worthwhile. You don't feel neglected, question mark, with us. You feel appreciation, you feel loved. You may not be in love with you, but you still feel love from us. So what do you think? Center of attention.
Yeah, I mean, they again goes back into not realizing that they have to go back into this messy dating pool again, and they're not. I mean, it's easier for women because men are more physical. So the moment you look good physically, a man's going to approach you.
Of course.
So that's really easy. But the problem is you're not going to get the attention you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that center of attention is. You can be the center of attention real easily, but it's is it the right attention that you're looking for, and is your end game going to be the same and
Right.
what you're looking for, which is not going to.
True.
So yeah, it's possible.
So number 10, they've been reminiscing, and that's the biggest crux there for guys like Manny and me, is they romanticize us, sometimes rightfully so, but they romanticize us, and they say, wow, God, I missed it when Manny used to make me giggle, even though I had a terrible day. God, I missed it when Jason would just surprise me randomly with flowers just because. Oh my God, they romanticize it without acknowledging what went wrong on both ends, and or why it didn't work out, or why you should not reach out and try and rekindle anything again. Period. Like the one who messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I mean, not for nothing. That was one of the most toxic relationships I ever had. Toxic back and forth relationships. I mean, it's up there with like my freaking kid's mom, like toxic. And I'm like, when you're reminiscing about the good times, I'm not saying there wasn't good times. I'm not even saying there wasn't any good times with my kid's mom either. It's just they were just vastly overshadowed by the bad times. But what I'm saying is, when you reminisce about that small amount, or that twinkle, even half of it, you need to not ignore why it ended, especially if you're going to reach out again. You got to address that shit from up front. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So reminiscing and romanticizing, you're just focusing on all the good, and that's almost counterproductive, if not asinine. Reminiscing memories, Mr. Manny.
It could definitely be a reason, because shit, there's even times where somebody goes in and they begin a new relationship, and because they reminisce or they remember things to be differently from what they're currently dealing with, like, oh man, I wish my new man would do what this old guy or my old man used to do.
Yep.
And then that they do tend to reach out, and it does happen. My new man sucks. He's not like you. Like, okay, I don't need my ego stroked. I know women like to hear that that's what men like. I don't like my ego stroked.
Yeah.
Unless we're together and we're actually doing something together, and we're, presumably going forward in life.
Yep.
Stroke my ego all you want. But if you're nobody to me,
yeah,
I don't need my ego touched. That's not going to help anybody.
I don't need me touched at all. If you're nobody, let me get away from me. Number 11 and 12 are kind of like self-explanatory. Number 11 is they're lonely, and number 12 they're bored, and that's hand in hand. Yes, when you're lonely, it leads to reminiscing. When you're bored, it leads to reminiscing. You know what I'm saying? Especially if, again, like guys like us, we are entertaining as shit. Manny is lovable, and I'm allegedly charismatic. So we provide fantastic distractions from either boredom or what ails you. So especially when you're lonely and you need, that relief, that feeling, yeah, you definitely want to go back, and that's ridiculous, because it's wrong. You're actively using someone. Let's be reasonable. You're actively using somebody as an emotional crutch, and you're not being forthcoming with it. And if you're not being forthcoming with it, it's because part of you knows that if you tell them why you're back, you're wrong, but actively, if you tell them why you're coming back around, legitimately, you might be turned down, you might be thrown off, you might be like, get the fuck out of my face, And being bored, I mean, shoot, if an ex is coming back because she's bored, oh my God, that's the worst. That's worse than using them as an emotional crutch, because you're actively stirring the pot because you're bored.
Yep.
Go meet friends. Go do something else with your life. Then backslide with somebody because you're bored. Because you're bored? Come on, man. And the sad part is, though, is that I can see many of the cycle women that have come in out of my life, that they've did it because they were bored, and they would, Jason will have some fun with me or whatever, and that's really sad. Manny, lonely and bored.
Like you said, those are
probably the worst reasons.
Yeah, those are the worst and saddest reasons ever.
Did I say pathetic?
Yeah, those
cowardly.
Are pathetic. I mean, those are possible reasons to reappear, but again, they're definitely not the good kind, because just because you do things out of boredom, and if you're the kind of person, because there are many women that I've talked to and spoken to that have admitted to this, they get bored very quickly. So if you're bored and you reach out to somebody from your past because you're bored,
Mm-hmm.
How long before you get bored of not being bored again?
Exactly. How long have do you get fluffed up? You're like, all right, good, I had enough of this. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're craving. It's like a craving, When you're craving something, you only crave for a certain amount of time. Then
For a short
eventually,
term, yep.
yeah, for short term, and it disappears. And the sad part is that you never let the person know. And so and that's how you lead to ghosting to people. It's ridiculous. So final thoughts before we wrap this episode up about why they come back. I mean, we've heard our own reasons why. We've heard this list of reasons why. And I'm gonna double down on it. I believe that they come back because they're selfish. Because they're selfish and it's all about them. Because it's definitely not about me. It's definitely not about me. Because if it was about me and you respected me in any way, shape, or form, you would leave me alone. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't reach back out to exes. Not since long before I got into my 30s. I just stopped. For what? Not even drunk texting, what I'm saying? Like, to the point where I'm like, all right, delete, 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 delete. Because what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? And I'm not saying I'm super mature. I'm not saying I'm immature. I'm not even saying that I'm anything. What I am saying, though, is this is how I hold myself accountable for the past and stuff. And I'm just like, at this point, I've been through enough that I'm allowed to feel this way. I'm allowed to think this way. I'm allowed to behave this way. And I'm allowed to dismiss you, especially after you have dismissed me.
So easily.
Right. And I'm not ashamed to say that women these days are cowards. They are. Because these three examples that I just showed you guys, that's cowardly behavior. Cowardly behavior. Why? Because I'm pretty sure each one of them saw our last communication right above the new communication. It's right there. You saw the communication, it gave you a flashback, and you still chose to reach out. Why? Because I'm a good guy. I may not curse you out, but now you're gonna be left on red. You absolutely left on red. I was communicating with whoever this was in the text message until they said one of your exes, and I was like, and in my mind was like, well, you're an ex for a reason, and it's probably your
Mm-hmm.
fault. And because honestly, I mean, it's sad to say this, Jason doesn't really break up with anybody. He really doesn't. But he does call you on your shit to the point where you are like, all right, I'm done. So you guys get fed up with me before I get fed up with you. What I do though is I do dismiss you quickly, when it comes to dating and when I was dating. I'm not doing that shit anymore. It's a waste of time. Because dating for a man who's still trying to find their purpose is dangerous and a distraction. And I mean that. If you're a man and you don't have a career, you don't have your education, you don't have your house, you don't have yourself, you're not settled, you're not ready you to be a man, to be yourself, you have no business dating. What's the point? Or dating seriously. Excuse me. You want to get it in, get it in. You want to get a D wet, get it. You want to see and talk. But I mean, like, seriously dating. If you're, and this is how I feel, because this is and again, this is how I'm carrying myself. If a woman is dangerous to a man who's trying to seek greatness, a woman is dangerous to a man who doesn't have a path yet. You need to get your path, get your career, get your mind, body, and money right. And then sure, get out there and start dating. Seriously. Had I known this in my 20s, I'd have saved myself a whole bunch of heartache. I would have just dated for fun, dated casually. I'm not saying if it gets serious, don't jump into it. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying though is, why are you dating with purpose? Your purpose should be establishing yourself first. Then you can go out there and date with purpose. If you don't know who you are, there's no point in attaching somebody to someone to you. I'm just saying. What's your final thoughts on why they always come back?
Um, I don't know. I hate people. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like you said, if you don't have your life put together correctly, stop wasting other people's time, stop wasting other people's emotion, stop wasting other people's livelihoods. Because if you're not in a good headspace and you're not in a good place in life, you're not going to have a healthy relationship, because there's always something that's going to happen.
Right.
Whether it's work related, family oriented, just mental health in general, anything of the sort. If you're not ready, just because, oh, I feel like I think I'm ready and I'm lonely and I've been single for something, that doesn't mean that you're ready.
Exactly.
You have to, for the fact that you were questioning being alone as a negative option means that you're not ready to be in a relationship.
Absolutely.
You have to be okay with the fact that you're going to be alone before you can even think about getting into a relationship with somebody else, for the simple fact that you're possibly using, as Jason said earlier, somebody else as an emotional crush to get into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have anybody there, you're relying on yourself to be your own crutch, which is how you should be. You need to take care of yourself first. The fact that some people keep going backwards,
Yes,
they reach out backwards, shows that they're not mentally ready or emotionally ready to be in any sort of relationship.
I think I don't really give a damn about you and why you're going backwards. The fact that it's I'm focusing more on the damage you're doing to the person that you're backsliding into.
Right.
When you're doing it when you're doing it for selfish reasons. Because everything that you're saying right now, it just all I hear is selfish. Because what it is. Because it's me, and I'm going to backside with whomever because it's about me, but it's not. And you need to show some respect and some tact and some civility, some maturity, and not make an impulse because you're lonely, you're bored, you're jealous, you want control, you're any of the reasons, because it all boils down to being selfish. You're selfishly reaching out and you're going to try and put somebody in a position. And with women, when you don't reply, you don't think that these 3 women that I discussed don't think I'm a piece of shit right now because I didn't reply? One, I don't care. 2, why am I a piece of shit? Because I'm respecting myself, but I'm engaging with somebody that has dismissed me, or and in turn I've dismissed. So respecting myself, I'm wrong. Because you're going to disrespect me because you want to feel fluffed up, because you want a piece of that fun, that action, that
because
style.
It's not about you.
Exactly. And that's what it is. And I'm just saying these 4 examples, 3 of mine and Manny's, they're just examples of women being selfish. That's what it is. And you guys, it's cowardly and it's selfish. You know what you did, you know what we did, and leave it be. That's it. You miss us? Look at old photos. Use your imagination. Don't reach out. Unless you're willing to have that discussion, acknowledge what went wrong, and accept that maybe we just don't give a damn anymore. And if there's any 2 guys, I mean, whether we're nice guys or former nice guys, that don't give a damn, it would be Manny and I. I'm just being real. We don't reminisce. We don't dwell. It's over. And the only time we bring these things up is when you reach out to us. These stories come up because you reach out, or we're using it, of course, on this podcast as part of us. I don't know, enhancing a topic, but that's about it. Stop doing it. Stop backsliding unless it is just for the physical pleasure, or you're willing to have that discussion and accept that you may leave feeling worse than you actually did. I.e., don't reach out. Because let's be real, the fact that Manny didn't tell off that girl, she got lucky. The fact that I didn't tell off any of these 3, they got lucky. But then at the same time, the worst feeling in the world is knowing that somebody who used to care about you feels nothing for you. Not hate, not love, but nothing. I feel nothing. Thanks for tuning into Last of the Nice Guys podcast. I am Jason. That is Manny. And thank you for your time. We feel nothing.
The Last of the Nice Guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.